Welcome to video 7.2. This will be my second example in solving a quadratic by completing the square. Okay, let's go to it. Step 1 will be to regroup the quadratic. So this is step 1, regroup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this in parentheses and make it open parentheses 4x squared minus 16x plus blank, close parentheses, minus 5 minus blank equals 0. And the idea is I'm going to add the same thing here that I'm going to subtract off. Okay, step 2 is to factor out a if one exists, and one does. In this case, in step 2, we have that a equals 4. Okay, I'm going to circle this. And I'm going to factor out 4 from inside this parenthesis. So I have 4, open parentheses, x squared minus 4x plus blank, close parentheses, minus 5 minus blank equals 0. Okay, and that completes step 2. Now step 3, this is the step that makes it a perfect square trinomial. Step 3, inside the parentheses, I'm going to add b over 2 squared, and outside the parentheses I'm going to subtract off this a times b over 2 squared. So let's see what that looks like. I'm going to change my color here. We're adding b is negative 4. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So let's see, where can I fit this? I can fit this, well, we'll just write it in. Alright, so in parentheses I have negative 2 squared. And I want to emphasize that that is, in fact, b over 2 squared. Negative 4 over 2 is negative 2. Now, so that's what I'm adding inside the parentheses. So I need to subtract that off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract it off. But remember, when I added this negative 2 squared, it's inside the parentheses being multiplied by this 4. So I need to account for that 4 when I subtract it off, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to subtract off 4 times negative 2 squared. Okay, and now I'm going to look at simplifying this up a little bit after I complete step 4. Step 4 is to rewrite this part right here. This part is a perfect square trinomial, so I'm going to rewrite it as if I were factoring it. This is x squared minus 4x plus 4, which obviously factors to x minus 2. So we can just rewrite that by noting this number. Let me change a better color here. Noting this number and this variable. So with those two in mind, this just becomes the 4 in front, open parentheses, x minus 2, close parentheses, squared. And then I still have what's left outside of here. Minus 5 minus 4, open parentheses, negative 2 squared equals 0. Okay, I'm going to simplify up these outside terms here. When you go to simplify this, you have negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So this is 4, open parentheses, x minus 2 squared minus 5 minus 16 equals 0. Combine your negative 5 and negative 16. I have 4, open parentheses, x minus 2 squared minus 21 equals 0. And that completes step 4. So now this is a quadratic in HK form. So that takes me to step 5, which is to solve the quadratic. Step 5. So to solve the quadratic, I'm going to add 5 to both sides, and I have 4, open parentheses, x minus 2 squared equals 21. Okay. Now I can divide both sides by 4, and I have open parentheses, x minus 2 squared equals 21 over 4. take the square root on both sides. X minus 2 equals plus or minus the square root of 21 over the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is, of course, 2. So add 2 to both sides, and I have x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 21 over 2. And that is our final answer for this problem.